Joining me tonight on Left, Right and Centre is our newsmaker, the Chief Minister of Punjab, Captain Amrinder Singh. But Captain Amrinder Singh, of course, is first a proud army man. He served in the 1965 war as well. Captain Singh, thank you for joining me, sir. It's, of course, a sad day across the country as soldiers, the mortal remains of soldiers were brought home. And we have 4 deaths, 4 sacrifices from Punjab as well. What would you say, sir, tonight first as an ex-army officer, always a soldier?
Well, 2 of them came today, 2 the JCOs from the 3rd Medium Regiment. One is from Patiala and one from Gurdaspur, and they have gone for the last rites. And 2 are coming tomorrow. So I'll be going to the airport tomorrow to receive them. And these 2 have been received, and they've been thrown out straight from the air base in Chandigarh to their villages. So their cremation is taking place, as you say. It's sad. It's but what is sad, Sonia, is not, soldier when he joins up, he knows that someday this may happen. But you send your boys in without any weapons. How can you do this? I mean, my first posting was just after the 62 war in 63 on the Chinese border. None of us went out without our weapons. We had our weapons, our patrols carried weapons. We were fully in defensive preparedness. And here you are sending these boys out to go and confront these Chinese, and you never know the Chinese. I mean, yesterday they started Stone Age warfare rather than ever. I mean, these sort of things are unacceptable. I do not know who has given this order that the troops should not patrol the way they should patrol, which is with weapons.
Well, you're saying Stone Age warfare. Of course, the foreign minister has tweeted saying that they were armed, but they didn't fire because of the agreement signed in 1996 and 2005. But of the details we have heard so far, of course, the full official details are not out. We have heard that Chinese soldiers attacked with batons covered with nails, but we also inflicted casualties. What are the details that you have, sir?
Well, I can tell you, I've only heard what one's heard on television or on the newspapers, that there were rods covered with barbed wire and nails and those sort of things with which they attacked. And I think our colonel, who was obviously leading his men, was the first to fall. But the fact of the matter is, the belligerence was growing. There was confrontation every day. They were shouting at each other, throwing stones at each other. That is the time you realize that something is going to happen. And I think the higher command, whether it was at the div level or brigade level or at the army level or corps level, whatever it was, they should have told. I mean, you can't sacrifice our boys just like that. If they were died fighting in battle, that's okay. That's part of our life. But no, you don't let them go in and be. The Chinese came prepared. We were not prepared. We were not carrying batons. We were not carrying anything. When the fisticuffs started, they must have picked up stones and thrown them at them. Those chaps are ready. They had everything to come at our boys in a pre-planned manner.
So who do you then, sir, hold responsible for this? What do you think needs to change that something like this doesn't happen again?
I think the policy on the Chinese. If you can patrol along the Pakistan line of control with weapons, and you've got people dug in there, then what's the Chinese are friends or something that you should go without your weapons? I mean, we've seen this happening from right. What has been happening? Look at the Chinese. First, Pakistan conveniently gives them the Shaksgam Valley. They've taken that valley and they're sitting there from the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Then you come down to Aksai Chin. They've taken it over and they've developed it as if it is part of their own system. Now they want to come into the Galwan. It's not the post. They want the whole Galwan Valley. And then you go on to come into Himachal Pradesh. They want the Shipkila, they want the Korikla, where I was posted, my first posted in 1963. And then you go up to Barahoti, they want it in UP. Then you come down to the trouble that took place in Nathula and Jalapla. Jalapla, they are still sitting on Jalapla. And then you come down to Arunachal, you come to Tawang, where they are still holding the Thagla Massif. And then you go down to Wanong. So they are just, it's a typical salami policy, slice by slice to take India. I mean, it's an absurd situation.
slice by slice you take India. Those are very strong words, Captain Singh. But what really are India's options now? I mean, we talk about, for instance, when you tweeted after this saying that, that we can't accept this anymore. We have to take the strongest possible response. What did you mean by that? You can't do a Balakot in a sense in China. It's very different adversary from Pakistan.
What do you mean you can't do a Balakot with Canada? What is the three mediums sitting there? What are they supporting the Biharis for? What are the Biharis sitting there? What are the Punjabis sitting there for? I mean, if they can come in here, you come and go. What do you come and garland them? I mean, they're coming here and they're sitting and all set to occupy an area. Huge convoys you're seeing in these satellite photographs of these chaps coming. The category, what should have happened? Now what they decide, I don't know what they decide. But the moment this incident took place, there should have been a reaction. Here you have a reaction immediately. The minute something happens in Pakistan, you start shelling or you start mortaring or you start opening machine gun fire or whatever else you do or send patrols in or something. What's so good in the Chinese? I mean, after all, they are also nibbling in our territory, as these chaps have done in Pakistan. You are doing the same thing. Okay, you think you're more powerful than the Pakistanis, you can do it. And here we should chicken out to the Chinese. This is not a thing that is acceptable. Why? What happened to those 2 mountain corps? I want to know. Why were they cancelled? Okay, 2 mountain corps would have cost too much. Then you said, all right, we'll have 1 mountain corps, and then you suddenly cancelled those mountain corps also. And I mean, you should have foreseen. There is some planning. What is your army headquarters doing? Don't they look 20 years forward or 40 years forward and see what's going to happen? And you start now to prepare these things. We've seen it happen in 62. Since 62, how many years have passed? How much progress have we made? Yes, we have got a corps in Ladakh now. We had probably, at that time, we only had 114 Brigade there.
But Captain Singh, this is exactly what the BJP says. This is not 1962. This is not a time of Prime Minister Nehru. This is a different India. They say Prime Minister Modi's India. And in fact, they say that the Chinese have not intruded into any territory of India, and that actually the Chinese aggression was a reaction to India actually strengthening infrastructure and building roads in Ladakh. So in fact, India was taking a stronger position. That's why China reacted like this. This is a much stronger India than 1962.
Okay. If you build your roads, if you build a forward air base at Daulat Beg Holdi, don't forget, in 62, where did it start? Daulat Beg Holdi, Sheok Valley, the hot springs. I remember the Jat battalion there. How well Major Jeet Singh, I remember also, who was commanding the unit at Hot Springs, and this is in this very area. And this is the Battle of Chushul, which took place there, with the first 8 Gurkhas and the 13 Kamaunis and the first Jats. And this is the way they fought in those days. And despite the fact that we didn't have the equipment, you know what happened to 7th Brigade on the Namkachu? The boys were only carrying pouch ammunition, which is 50 rounds per man, and 2 hand grenades. And they had 1 blanket between 2 men. And they had no food. In the end, they were with tea and all. But they fought. They had weapons to fight with. They didn't go there and confront these guys with stones.
No,
what were they doing with their weapons?
Yes.
Why were they? Somebody should be answerable to this. Why were the soldiers sent there without weapons? Otherwise, if you want to send people without weapons, then why do you need soldiers? Then send anybody. Send some whatever you may call them, pioneers or whatever you may call them,
right,
with your things.
No, the Indian soldiers' bravery, of course, was something which was remarkable. But even though the controversy whether they're armed or unarmed. What exactly was your focus on? What exactly was the focus on that when you say that?
I can even ask you. I think Lathi-wise, better than us would be the BJP Lathis. What do they call the RSS chaps who are parading every day with their Lathis? They would be better off if you were dandas to be allowed. Leave the army to do its job. The army has weapons. It's trained with weapons. Its job is to fight with weapons, and let them do that. And don't use them to throw stones at people. This is not the Stone Age. We are now in the nuclear age.
This is not the Stone Age, but given what the Foreign Minister said, Captain Singh, and the larger question that at a time when India is facing a huge national security issue, is this the right time for the opposition, for the Congress to be asking questions? The BJP says, why is the Congress not one with the government. This is a time of national unity. They raised the issue that even when Pulwama happened, again, it was the Congress raising questions which was weakening India's stand. In fact, at that time, the BJP complimented you for taking a much more stronger nationalist position as compared to the Congress and Rahul Gandhi at that time. Do you think this is the right time to be asking questions of the government?
Well, I think, it's anybody. Why is the Congress not for national security? Pulwama is very much, if there's incidents that have taken place, the Congress has always supported. Today, I've heard the Congress party spokesperson yesterday say that the party is totally with the government on this issue. Which person in India is not with the government on this issue? But for God's sake, do something. Don't just say that we are going to think it over or call an all-party meeting. What is an all-party meeting going to do? What is the army doing there? What is 14 Corps doing in Leh? The Northern Command should be active in this thing. And I don't think you should wait 6 days before somebody decides to fire a shell into the Chinese position. I think there should be a preemptive action taken immediately when some action takes place. That's how. What happened on the Nathu line, the Jalapla passes? That time General Sagat Singh was commanding the division, and you know what happened? He let fly at the Chinese. For 4 days, he shelled the position, hell out of the Chinese. And after that, for 40 years, we haven't had any problem. Though they've kept Jalapla because army headquarters stopped the battle. Nathula we kept, Jalapla we lost, but we knocked the hell out of them, and we 3 times more Chinese casualties than Indian casualties in that battle. And that is the way this is the only response. If they kill one of us, kill 5 of those jokers.
If they kill one of us, kill 5 of theirs. Strong words, Captain Singh. But of course, you're also an army historian, which is why your knowledge of these earlier battles. But do you feel today, as an armyman, as a military historian, and as a chief minister, do you have any evidence or feel that China has actually intruded into new Indian territory? And as a soldier, what would you suggest Prime Minister Modi should do now?
I think first India must make sure that its territorial integrity is maintained. We cannot afford to lose land just like this. First, yes, there was a gap of about 8 kilometers, I'm told, which was sort of no man's land, but patrolled by both sides. And now they're claiming the whole Galwan Valley. I mean, like that, as I said, it's a salami policy, keep chopping and taking little slices of the country whenever they feel like it. What is this? Is a bit of a joke? I mean, and what are we keeping such a large army of 1.3 million people for? Just like that? This is the time that they are required. Yes, they are stronger than Pakistan, so what? I mean, we should also react and teach them, like General Sagat, unfortunately, is not here. He was also the hero of Bangladesh. He's not here, but had he been here and had you had a man like that, knock the hell out of these Chinese, and then come say, okay, now we'll talk.
In fact, finally, Captain Amrinder Singh, we come back to how we actually began those sad scenes of mortal remains of 20 soldiers returning today to their families. You served in the 1965 war as well. You've been a soldier yourself. What would you say today as we talk now? The whole focus has shifted to diplomatic territory, disengagement, de-escalation right now. What would you say today with 20 soldiers dead? Can we just go back to diplomatic conversations with China, or is this a turning point?
Look, first I'll tell you, like they did in 1967 when this Nathula incident took place. Similarly now, answer is kick them hard and then say, okay, now you want to talk. But not before that. This is ridiculous that every time they attack us or they kill our boys or they shoot somebody, we say, okay, let's talk. What are you talking about? How many people are we going to lose? I mean, over the last 40 years, how many people have lost their lives? Every time you go there, they throw stones at us, hit somebody in the head or hit somebody in the face. What is nonsense? And we happily take it. And but first is the policy I don't understand. Is it a policy of appeasement? Is it once again Hindi Cheney are going to be bhai-bhais? We've seen that happen once. And is this a policy of appeasement that you go there and you say talk on the LAC and then suddenly they pick up stones and throw it at you and you throw it back at them? We are now in 2020 for God's sake. And the warfare has changed, everything has changed.
Right. Captain Singh, thanks so much for joining me, forthright and fiery as ever. Let's see how the government responds to your questions on this not being the Stone Age. Thank you for joining us tonight.